Good evening, friends. As after all INISS NEET results, we are having one another topper with us to discuss about his exam preparations and to share his joy with us. Good evening, Dr. Parth Mehta. It's a great pleasure to have you here.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. Okay, so you may not know me. I am Dr. Suja. I am your super senior, and
Yes, sir.
congratulations, all. There have been so many INASS NEET exams, so many toppers, but every year that one topper will feel that I'm the king of the world. So this is your I'm the king of the world moment. How do you
Thank you
feel?
so much. I feel good, really great, ma'am. Now, it's been a long duration of hard work I have been putting into this, and finally coming at this moment, it feels really great.
Yes, we would want to know more about Dr. Parth Mehta. So, where are you from? Where did you finish your MBBS, MD? And we would want to know about your preparations also. But before that, about you personally.
I am originally from Haryana, and I did my MBBS from UCMS New Delhi, and then MD and senior residency from UCMS New Delhi, and then I got the All India Rank 1 in the recent NEET SS also, and I had joined LHMC Neonatology.
Okay. So you are now you have started your course there.
I have reported the course is going to start from this 20th.
Okay, so you are double king of the world. Okay, so it's great that we have somebody who has aspired and succeeded in both NEET SS and INA SS. So, when did you start preparing? When did you finish your MD? And has neonatology been your passion from the beginning itself?
Well, actually, I was interested in neonatology from my undergraduate days. I did a
Okay,
ICMR project as a quality improvement initiative to decrease the
okay,
ROP screening rate in I unit. So that was the first spark that started. Then I went into MD pediatrics, and deciding about pursuing neonatology came when I worked as a senior resident in NICU. Then I realized that I can do it and want to do it for probably rest of my life. So
okay. Yeah, it is actually worth it. One of the fields which will give you the like even when you turn 80 or 90, you can be proud that you are a neonatologist. Well, I would want to know since when you have been preparing, when you were preparing for MD itself, you are preparing, you are looking into questions, or you started your preparation only after finishing your MD and start your SRship.
during my MD, I have always stuck to the standard sources, the Nelson and Ames protocols for neonatology. But dedicated preparation I have given last 6 months. From
Last
November,
six.
yes,
Yeah, okay. How long are you into your SRship?
I've done 1 year, 3 months,
Okay, so after around 6 months of SRship, you started you decided to prepare for your NEET exams.
roughly.
Yes. So, did you have any institution of choice? I meant to ask whether what was your focus? It was your INASS NEET or the NEET Super Special?
Actually, when I started, I asked out my seniors. They told me INI is a little easy exam. That is what I was told because the syllabus, that you can focus on neonatology and still get through the exam. And for NEET, you have to read a lot. Nelson is the volume of thickness is much more than INI exam. And
Yeah.
and one of my reasons to prepare for DM was also to improve my knowledge. So I basically started focusing on NEET,
Okay.
and I simultaneously covered AIMS protocol also. And in the last 2 months, I was solely reading neonatology after the NEET, in between NEET and INI.
Okay. What were the sources that you were using? I mean, the textbooks, the content, the material. What were you following? Like every candidate will have a primary source. I read Nelson, and in between, I refer the other books. So, what were your sources of preparation?
For I have read Nelson for NEET as well as INI. My primary source for pediatrics was Nelson and the Marrow Q Bank and Marrow tests.
Okay.
And for neonatology, I'd read AIMS NIC protocols, and I've watched all your lectures also. And
Okay, that's nice. Okay. And did you use other textbooks like Clohati or Avery also? Did you find time? Because even I prepare presentations, I do QBACs. It is very difficult to go through all three books within a time frame. So, did you go through Avery and Clohati, or it was only predominantly Ains only?
AIMS protocol, I was told I have to read cover to cover. I was told, given a list of few chapters in Clarity that I have to read, but that most of them was already covered in your lectures. So I didn't
Okay.
need to actually go to Clarity. And for every the question bank that I solved from Marrow, I had a lot of questions which were referenced to every. So I would
Okay.
occasionally look into a topic if I was not clear with the explanation. That's the only. I probably used it as a reference book.
Reference book. Okay. And Nelson, it is like lot of text. You have to read a lot. So how for general pediatrics, yeah, it's a Bible. There is no question about it. For neonatology, how helpful was Nelson for you?
For the INI neonatology exam, you have to read the neonatology part definitely. There is no doubt about it. There are questions from the neonatology. There were tables. There were pictures that come straight from the Nelson, and you had covered most of them in your lectures also. Some things which are not there in AIMS protocol. But what I really feel is to get the top into top five or top 10 into, you have to read the rest of pediatrics also.
Okay.
You might get qualify the exam only by reading neonatology, but to get the institute of your choice, the pediatrics, there are 20 30, sometimes 30 questions from pediatrics, and they are the questions that decide the rank.
Okay. Okay. So those questions were predominantly, even in INA, they were from Nelson only.
Nelson only.
Nelson only. So you have read Nelson from back to back, front back cover to back cover,
Mostly.
mostly. Okay. And are there like at least 10% of the questions, did you feel that it came from common practice? They were not in any of these textbooks, but they were random questions to test your practice, your clinical knowledge. Were there questions like that this year also?
There is no doubt about it. There are certain questions which you cannot do even by reading that topic from the book, unless until you have worked. So you can't do it because lot of they try to test a lot of practical knowledge even in the OSCE part of the departmental assessment. All the questions
Okay.
you can't answer them without working in a neonatal unit.
In a neonatal unit. Every year or every 2 to 3 years, we say that the focus of the questions changes. Sometimes it is respiratory distress, sometimes it is quality improvement, sometimes it is statistics. So this year, were you able to feel that the questions were targeted towards a separate system, or a lot of questions were from this chapter rather than the other chapters? Did you get a feel like that?
Not really. It was a mixed bag. I didn't feel like that a specific system was focused. Most of things were covered.
Okay. And regarding the Viva part of it, how did it go?
Uh, for me, it went extremely well.
Okay,
So
good.
I was
Okay.
I was very sure about it. The OSCE was predominantly they were asking practical things. They had given a scenario and they asked the vent settings you would change, the X-ray findings, the interpretation of lab reports, and the second part is predominantly from pediatrics. And the most of the
Yeah.
question of pediatrics were also related to the neonate only. They had asked
Okay.
uh, cystic fibrosis related to neonate and one
Okay.
biostatistics question.
Okay.
So
So it was the same format where there were 10 or 10 questions was there, right?
the morning session was 12 marks. It was purely neonatology OSCE, four
Okay.
questions with
Okay.
multiple sub questions.
Sub questions. Okay. And
And uh,
you had to write
evening
in.
there were yes.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Evening was general. It was random. The questions were quite
Eight
random.
8 marks, four questions. Each question with three subparts.
Three subparts. 8 marks, 4 questions. Each question had three subparts. And the systems were equally distributed. Pulmonology, nephrology, they had
Yes, sir. They had three systems and one biostats.
biostatistics. Okay. You were asked to solve the biostatistics problem also.
It was a bland Altman plot. So they had asked what is the plot, what x and y axis represent, and how do you interpret this new diagnostic test. So it was a difficult one actually,
Okay.
tricky one.
But you said it went very well. Okay. Where did you get your knowledge regarding the statistics part also?
I actually saw Marrow videos for biostatistics. All
Okay.
the
Okay. You have been a Marrow user from beginning itself, from the last 6 months you have been using Marrow? Okay.
but it was not there in my residency.
Okay.
I got to know about it last year only. So last 6 months I purely use Marrow and Nelson.
Okay. So when you're like a Marrow or any other platform, how do you decide? You see the lectures first and then go back into the textbook, or you read the textbook and then when you're free, like randomly when you're driving or something, you listen to the Marrow videos. How did you do? Uh,
Videos, ma'am. I for neonatology specifically, I had finished the protocol and I was looking for a source to cover the things which are not there. So it was
Okay.
not possible for me to cover the Clohati in such a brief. I
Okay.
might be able to read it once, but once doesn't make difference. So
Okay.
your videos and notes, I was able to finish in 2 weeks, and then
Okay.
I was able to revise it twice before the uh,
Okay.
exam.
You have the habit of taking notes also while you're reading?
Yes, ma'am. Short.
Yeah.
I like to summarize things so that I can revise it before the exam.
Okay. So your notes helped you. Like before the exam, you
Yes,
read
yes,
through your notes. Okay,
yes.
fine. There are now a lot of aspiring candidates who will be listening to this video. Now you are the most recent batch of candidate or the candidate who has succeeded. So we would want to know if you want to give them tips, a short list of tips. Like for this, next year's exam, you prepare this, this, and this. You prepare this way. What would you want to tell them?
The most important tip is focus on your residency. The more
Great.
you work, the better. I have said it previously also. I say even say 60% of questions you can solve just by doing your residency right.
Yes.
And
Yes, I
the
think
last
that's a very beautiful point.
rest
Uh,
40% rank decider questions are from the book and stick to standard sources and leave out the shortcuts.
That's great. That's great. Because sometimes I feel in this current generation, people are doing MBBS primarily because they want to do MD. They do MD with ambition that they have to do DM. So they don't gain what practical knowledge they have to gain from MBBS or MD. Even in their internship, I see people doing question banks, question banks, question banks. But that is a area that is a time when you learn maximum, right? You don't get that experience any time ever again in your life. So, being that young, junior, vibrant person doing practical life saving measures, I think people have to understand the importance of practical training. Only when you do that, you can actually put the DR behind you. Otherwise, you can just add on letters after you, but the DR behind you won't have its worth. That's a
No
beautiful
doubt.
point you told. And like you have an institute of choice.
My dream was Ames Delhi, and
Okay.
I missed it by I I was so close yet I am so far from it. So there is only one seat. So currently I am
Okay.
deciding between LHMC and PGH Chandigarh.
Okay, I'm a PG candidate, so I will brainwash you to take that. I think those were the most beautiful years of my life. And all the best, Dr. Parth. I tell all candidates, like 3 years from now, we'll become colleagues. Like we'll be meeting in conferences, we'll be sharing information, and it is so nice to see that such young people are joining neonatology. We start feeling old.
And one important point I always say, senior residency changed my perspective. My guide told me to do a year of senior residency before joining DM. She told me become a pediatrician first before becoming a
Exactly,
neonatologist. And
exactly, exactly. I mean, like you change as a person when you work, when you take the responsibility, when you remain a student always, the responsibility is not on your shoulders. But when you work independently as a senior resident or in some position as an independent consultant, then your perspective of life, when you go into neonatology, you will know what you have to learn. It is not just a textbooks
you
or there
learn
is a,
your weaknesses, you learn your strengths, you
yeah, and
realize
you
how
know
much
how to
you.
make a difference.
Yes, yes, definitely.
What matters ultimately. And the moment you sat in front of the camera, we were able to see that confidence glowing in you. I know this is not one young chap who has just been reading for exams and cleared the exams. I know this is a real doctor or a real pediatrician who I'm sitting in front of. So proud of you, Dr. Path. And
Thank you so much.
all the best, really all the best. And I pray that you take PJ.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I'm really thankful to the entire Maro team, and I'm so grateful that I could read. I still there are 33 videos. I've created them 3 times, and I think they are going to help me in my residency also.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. We are striving to upgrade them as and when we get feedbacks from you, because we are also new to it. As every year the question pattern changes, we get feedbacks from candidates. We are changing. So I personally would love to stay in touch with you to get actual feedbacks from you. Once
Okay,
again,
thank you.
congratulations, and we'll meet in a different platform later.
Yes, ma'am, definitely.
Definitely. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Parth.
Thank you.